When Wagner's music evolved as he wrote it, he lived from the early 1800s to the late 1800s. As he evolved, the music itself evolved. In other words, Wagner never wrote two things at all the same. Uh, Everything had some special character to it, which was absolutely different than the other. Now, few composers have done that. When you hear other composers, you will notice, oh, that's so and so, because of some of those same feelings and ideas that are in their music. But in Wagner's case, unless you knew it was him, you wouldn't necessarily know who wrote it because it doesn't sound like anything he did previously. And that evolution went on all through his life, and his music continued to become an improvement on what he did in the past. And so, musically, he grew as he aged. Also, another thing which was unique about Wagner as a composer, most composers have people write out the storyline for them, and then they turn into music for singers and so forth. That's called a libretto, the kind of thing that's written out as a storyline. Well, Wagner wrote not only his own music, he wrote his own librettos. He wrote his own storyline as well. Now, sometimes he had a source for those, but it wouldn't be copied. It would be redone by Wagner for exactly one of that what that story would be when he set it to music. So another unique thing is that he was also the music writer and also the storyline writer, called the libretto. That's also very unique about Wagner. Now, and the operas that were written in a series were very interesting. Like the first one is called Rienzi, Rienzi, and then the second one is Der Fliegende Holländer, or the Flying Dutchman, it's called. And the another one is called Tannhäuser, and another one is called Lohengrin. Now, Lohengrin happens to be a storyline that Wagner wrote, but also that is an influence on this very last opera. So remember that. Then there was something also quite unique about Wagner is called the Ring. The Ring of the Nibelung. Now, what's unique about this also, that no other composer had ever done, was to write four long operas, all based on that whole idea of the Ring of the Nibelung. The ring, a piece of gold found under a river that was turned into something that became a tremendous influence in that entire series of four operas. Now, these are called Das Rheingold, Die Walküre, Siegfried, and Götterdämmerung. Those four operas all form a complete unit. All four operas have those leitmotifs all the way through, all four of them. And they have wonderful storylines that are all related as these operas evolve. So, again, that is another thing very, very unique about Wagner's music. Then we move on to a love story called Tristan and Isolde. And then Die Meistersinger, or The Master Singer, which was a comedy. And then his last opera, completely written, called Parsifal. And as I was saying before, Lohengrin, that opera earlier refers to that person, Parsifal, that Wagner kept in his mind ever since that was written, so he finally could write something that was in his mind since that time called Parsifal.